My name's Dan, and I'm an American citizen, but I live in Vietnam. I've got a wife who's a Vietnamese citizen, and we have 2 kids together. Here's my son's nose, and here's my daughter's ear. Now, both this nose and this ear were born in this hospital in Hanoi. But because they have one US citizen parent, yours truly, they too have US citizenship. Now, that may not be very surprising to you, but some friends and family have asked me,
Wait a second. If your kids were born in Vietnam, that means they couldn't be president, could they?
yeah, that's a serious question. I mean, I want to tell my kids that they can be whatever they want. Imagine how it would go if I told my son, "Son, you can be whatever you want to be." Can I be president of the United States, Dad? I mean, I'm as American as apple pie, aren't I? Aren't I, Dad? Aren't I? Well, the happy answer to that question is yes, my kids can be president. Well, maybe not my daughter, because Americans evidently don't want to let the Oval Office be infested with girl cooties, but my son could be president. Contrary to popular belief, you don't have to be born on the rich, free soil of America in order to be the supreme lord and ruler over that soil. The requirements for being elected president are that the individual is at least 35 years old, has resided in the US for at least 14 years, and is a natural-born US citizen. Now, being born on US soil is a sufficient condition for being a natural-born citizen, but it's not a necessary one. A natural-born citizen is simply anyone who met the conditions for US citizenship at birth, as opposed to someone who went through a naturalization process to acquire citizenship later in life. And in most cases, a baby born abroad to a US citizen parent does meet the conditions for citizenship at birth. So that means as soon as my son burst out of my wife's chest, even though it was in a Vietnamese hospital, even though there was no American authority there to acknowledge the birth, my little alien was a citizen of the United States of America. Now, of course, you need to have some kind of proof that that was the case if you want your alien to be eligible for the presidency later. To get that proof, you have to go to a US embassy or consulate and apply for a CRIBA, that's Consular Report of Birth Abroad. And the process for getting that CRIBA is probably more of a hassle than you think. You can't just show your passport, show the baby, and walk out with the CRIBA. First, you've got to prove that the baby is actually yours and your spouse's. You do this by presenting things like your marriage certificate, the baby's local birth certificate, ultrasounds, hospital records, and photos of the baby's birth. And one kind of funny but reasonable one is you've got to provide evidence of both parents' physical presence in the same country at the time of conception. Typically, if you show corresponding entry and exit stamps in each of your passports, that's evidence enough. Once you've proved that the baby belongs to you, you've also got to prove that at least one of the parents is a US citizen who's eligible to pass on his or her citizenship to the baby. The first part is easy enough. Show your passport and you're done. But in order to pass on your citizenship, you've also got to prove that you have resided in the US for at least 5 years, and that 2 of those years came after the age of 14. You can prove this through things like school transcripts and tax records, but the easiest way to do it is to get your social security statement online, which shows the payments you've made into the system every year. Once you've got that big pile of stuff, along with the CRIBA application form and photocopies and certified translations as necessary, you take it all in to the nice folks at the embassy. And I'm not saying nice folks facetiously. I've been into the embassy here in Hanoi at least a dozen times, and every time they've been very courteous and very non-bureaucratic. Anyway, you give your file to the embassy folks, they ask you some questions, have you take some oaths, have you sign some things, and then a few weeks later, you go back to the embassy and get your CRIBA, which states that the ankle biter in question acquired US citizenship at birth. And then you're pretty much good to go. Once my son is 35, he could, in theory, pull that CRIBA right out of his nostril and say, "I'm running for president, bitch." It's only a shame that they don't let 3-year-olds run, because I think he'd have a shot next year. Hey, what's up? If you are brand new to this channel from the 4Ocean video I made, I just want to say thanks for being here, and I want to mention a couple of things about this channel. One, the name of the channel, Dan Yehar, is not my real name. My real name is Dan Hauer. No relation to Rutger Hauer, unfortunately. The second thing I want to mention, in case you're curious, is this channel is not my first rodeo on YouTube. I actually have an old channel that I'm no longer active on, which was quite successful with a Vietnamese audience. If you want, you can check out those videos. I do speak Vietnamese in most of them, but there are English subtitles that you can turn on. Also, there are a handful of videos in which I speak English, aside from a short intro in Vietnamese, and I've compiled them into a short playlist that you can watch if you want to learn more about me. The third thing I want to mention, once again, is thank you for being a subscriber now, but please don't be expecting a whole lot of consistency on this channel. I don't have a theme for the channel, and I definitely don't have any kind of an upload schedule. With my previous channel, I was really dedicated about getting a video out every 2 weeks and building that audience. With this channel, it would be cool if it gets a big audience, but I'm not gonna be chasing after that the way I was with my previous channel. So don't expect videos all that often, but I hope you like the ones I do make. And the final thing I want to say is related to the content on this channel. Even though there's no theme, I do really enjoy making videos like that 4Ocean one, where it's either an expose or sort of a critical examination of a company in order to help consumers make more informed choices. If you find some company online that seems to be shady and no one is really talking about it, please let me know. You can include it in the comments with a link or whatever, and I'll check it out. If it seems worth making a video, I'll do it, and maybe it'll help people. So, once again, finally, thanks for being here, and you will see me again.